Hey guys, welcome to this little video series. This Fancy Dragon here, aka Syndromes, and I wanted to take a look back at a very particular game that I remember even going as far to say that or at least it had the potential to be the new roleplay platform for Discovery Freelancer. The game is called Avorion. You can see the name on the window right now. And it is a game that is very similar to Ark Survival Evolved and Space Engineers in terms of gameplay, but with its own little caveats and twists. Essentially, the game is about a procedurally generated universe that is built out of specific systems, and your goal is to build yourself a spaceship or spaceships, bases, take over territory, but overall it is essentially that you get to the center of the galaxy and something happens. The reason why I'm so vague about it is because, frankly, I've never finished this game. And this is sort of a challenge to myself that, hey, I'm gonna just buckle down and set out on this adventure with you guys and finish this game. Now, the current build that I'm using is a Avorion Client Beta 0.20, and there is a small chance that we might, quote-unquote, might end up having to move to a different beta version, and it might kind of, shit all over our saves, but I'm really hoping that that won't happen. And the cool thing about this game is that, well, if it does happen, we can use server-side tweaks that basically places us in the same situation we were before, so I'm not really too worried about that. The game has a multiplayer component to it, of course, and, well, at the time recording this video, the game is about $20 on Steam. Depending on who you are, that might be a lot or very little, and I'm not being, paid by anyone from the dev team or their marketing department to play this thing, but I did think that this is a very interesting game, and I wanted to show it to you. Keep in mind that I don't really like Space Engineers, so this game is slightly different. So there is something in this game that appeals to me personally, and hopefully you'll see why. So we're going to start off this Let's Play. The Let's Play itself is going to be about between 12 and 15 minutes in length per episode, or at least that's what I'm hoping. And we're going to start off by creating a new galaxy, and it's going to call the Let's Play Galaxy. And after that we have these advanced options. So if you want a galaxy just like mine, I'm going to give you the seed name, Discovery, without a capital D. And you can try basically following me if you want. I'm going to leave the difficulty to normal, but I am going to remove the collision damage. This is going to make the game a lot easier. But there is a reason for that, and that is a suggestion a friend of mine made. And they said that they added specific features when it comes to controlling ships that you create. Again, you can create your own ship, and obviously you also can create ships that are in your fleet, so to speak, if you want. And by removing the collision damage, the ship behavior changes so that they are a little bit more speedy, a little bit more careless in terms of navigation, and, well, it's a little bit easier overall. And with that in mind, let's start. When you click the start button, it is going to generate the universe itself, and it's going to lay out the first system. Now you're going to see what I mean about systems in general in a moment. This game does take some inspirations from games like 3X, a lot from 3X actually, and also Freelancer. At times, when it's kind of hard to tell because overall, Freelancer is kind of the only space sim game that I've really played, so maybe it's kind of taking inspiration from something else and I just don't know. So welcome to the game! This is our graphics, this is our GUI, and this is our first ship. This is a drone. The drone is tiny, and I can actually show you that in a moment, because we are next to a space station. So, if I zoom all the way out, you'll notice that, first of all, this space station is long. Long boy. Oh no, it's just the docking arm that is long. Okay, never mind. So the cool thing about this game is that every single structure and ship that you are going to see in the game is procedurally generated, and of course you can make your own. The Steam Workshop for this game is full of user-created ships that you can simply download and create for yourself. There is a certain element of roguelike games here, in the sense that there is kind of like a permadeath going on, in the sense that if you have your ship destroyed, you'll need to start off where you left off. You keep certain aspects, and you keep your materials, but if you blow up your ship, well, it's still there. You can go and try to salvage it, but it's basically destroyed. So, this is our system. If we press F9, we are going to go into this sort of RTS mode that I will say it is going to make things a little bit easier over time. And let's just take a look at what we have. The ship designations, these are the ships that are flying around right here. You can click on them. You have a little preview window down here. You will notice that they do use the same-ish designations for the ship types as X3, but that's basically where the similarities ends. This place has a repair repair station. This allows you to repair your ships without spending too much credits and, well, resources in general. And also, it has jump gates to different areas, to different systems. You can actually see I'm just zooming into this thing a little bit more. And you also have the shipyard that can create ships, both your design and any others you seek to make, and there's also equipment shops and some other unrelated things. Let's press F9 to go back and start moving. The first thing we need to kind of figure out is how the game acts in terms of controls, and the controls are actually very similar to Freelancer. You have your W and S to move back and move forward. You have your afterburners, or in this case that would be the space bar, like this. And you can also go up and down. You can yaw, you can pitch, you can yaw. Everything's basically like Freelancer. So, let's open up our map. And this is the sector that we are currently in. You already saw that we had 2 jump gates, and you can actually see that they lead off to sectors that we currently do not know. Sectors that have something in it, like there is information that there is something inside that sector, is going to show up as green blips like this. And, well, this is where we are, and every single square we see here is a sector. There is something, or might not be something, in this sector, and it's up to us to explore, gather resources, and in the end, we are going to make our way all the way over here to the center of a galaxy. So, chances are, this Let's Play is going to be long. So, over here we have our asteroids. This is where we're going to get most of our resources from. And the way you can do this is by mining it. The cool thing about it is that the game gives you a drone, and the drone is always going to be equipped with 2 regular mining lasers. And the way you mine things is move up to whatever you want to mine until the circles around it is, the aiming circle, so to speak, is green, and you can simply mine. Everything in this game is made out of parts, including the ships, and obviously those parts have their own health, and they're destructible, if you wish. And my choice for now is going to be to mine up about 1,000 iron. You'll notice that over here at the right side you see what we're mining and how much we're getting and how much we have. And my current intention is to get 1,000 iron so we can create our first ship. A little bit more than 1,000, actually. And yes, these asteroids are not static at all. I can actually cut this thing in half, and it is going to break off and start floating in space. Every single of these asteroids has its own physics, although the game starts off with these things pretty, you know, static. But yes, it is very easy to ram these things. So you have a large ship, you can just push them out of the way a little bit. We'll see that, hopefully, in the next episodes. But right now, I just want to get my first amount of stuff. We're up to 800. So where's more things, which is the closer one. Distances are very deceptive in this game. So that's kind of, you know, if you're playing Freelancer, you probably already know how distances are deceptive overall. But unless you have a ship, traveling large distances is kind of problematic. You have two ways to travel between sectors. You have the gates, and you have the hyperspace drive, which every single ship has on by default. The bigger the ship, the slower the recharge rate between the drive, between jumps. Although, I'm probably getting a little bit too ahead of myself. Let's worry about that once we actually have a ship. And there we go. Almost 2,000 iron. This game has multiple tiers of stuff. Iron is just one of the types of materials that you can get, but it is going to be our starting block, so to speak. To make a ship, it's very easy to make a ship. You can simply press over here on the Found Ship button, and it's going to basically take a little bit of money, and yes, you do have credits, and also the materials you gather from the space around you. And once you created it, you can start building it up. Now, the problem here is that every single ship has a crew, and how much crew you need depends on the size of your ship. The problem here is that when you start off a ship like this, you have no crew. It is going to start deteriorating, it's not going to handle well because you are basically trying to run everything yourself. And so instead of what I'm going to do is I'm going to contact this system's shipyard, and I'm going to commission them to build myself a ship. The ship they're going to make is going to be very similar to the ships that we see flying around us over here. And obviously, this is one of the games you kind of need to instantly understand that the ships that it generates and the ships that you're going to make are not going to be symmetrical unless you really try to make them symmetrical. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to press F from a distance, and it's going to say, "Hello, you are speaking to the automated interaction system of the shipyard Zua. How can we be of service?" Also, every single name of the factions and everything else is also randomly generated. And we're going to say that, hey, I want to build a ship. And it's going to give us this little window here where we can take a look at what kind of ship it's going to create, depending on how much credits and how much everything else we want to put into it. So this is a tiny ship, and it's only going to cost us 100 iron and 200 credits. The credits is basically for the insurance and for the crew and the captain for this size of ship. It's going to give us enough crew to basically make it pilotable, but there's a catch to it. The most important thing that I'm looking for here is the fact that it's going to give us a crew and a captain. And because the captain is a very special type of crew member, which is not purchasable, or rather hireable, on every single base we encounter, but it is going to allow us to control the ship between sectors, and also have it follow us. Basically, it's going to automate the ship if we will want it to. And yeah, this is going to be the start of our new ship, and this is going to be the start of the Let's Play. I'm going to see you in episode number 2, where we actually build a ship, and we're going to be off. This is Fantasy Dragon, aka Syndromes. Fly safe.